We're alive.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Changing the Lost Smoky Mountain Wilds. I am William, or Shawnee, and I am your storyteller for this Changeling the Lost Second Edition Chronicle. And joining me today, we have Austin.
Oh, hi. Yes. I'm. Who am I?
Austin.
My character.
Frank and Lisa.
Frank and Lisa.
I'm Frank and Lisa. Right. I'm Cats. But not like the movie Cats. Or like the musical Cats, which was actually good. But problem Cats.
Your problem cats.
I'm a Lethapomp, but I'm also a Sparkle.
Beast
is
Beast
can Lethapomp and Polychromatic. Yes. So I let the rest of the group introduce my character for me because I can never remember the words.
I wasn't trying to. I'm just like, I know this by now.
You think I would?
And Drevian.
I'm Drevian. I'm playing Frisian, a Darkling Hunterheart. The first time in my head, I actually flipped Frisian and Drevian around.
Did you lay in your head like have those reversed? Cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's not just me. And Julia.
Hi, I'm Julia, and I'm playing Cassandra Scott, the Elemental Polychromatic. No, I got it right this time.
Yes, you did.
Everybody else has me confused now.
And Jeremy.
Hi, I'm Jeremy. I am playing Jackson Montgomery or Merlin Dubois, who is a Ferris Chatelaine. I know my shit.
And Katie.
Hi, I'm Katie. I'm playing Joe Arbor, who is an elemental notary.
And as always, Black Lives Matter, trans rights are human rights, eat the rich, Jeremy.
Fuck Vince McMahon.
And the cycle begins again.
Yeah.
Happy Pride Month. The cycle of sin begins once more.
Get ready for 7 months of this, fuckers.
We're just getting started.
Okay. When last we left off, the group had learned a bit of how operating within the space of dreams works, and about the restrictions and rules and the danger that it poses, and the threats that live in the realms between dreams and the influence that those dreams can have on the deep, far-reaching corners of the hedge that they exist between. In preparation for meeting with a potential line on the location of the ancient body that is theoretically being hunted down by the vampires of the Sabbat who have come to this city. And we missed a week between, and I have forgotten exactly where we left off. I think you were basically resting up before heading out for the evening to meet with your vampire contacts.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. Was there anything that needed to happen before that?
I remember vaguely. Cassandra had talked about going into the hedge.
To get memories.
Get memories?
Yeah. I believe that idea was scrapped because time's weird in the hedge.
Okay.
Less scrapped and more like maybe after.
Yeah, like shelved.
To be determined. Okay. Sorry, my brain is just going, a lot has happened, and I don't remember.
That's why I ask you guys sometimes.
Fair.
That's all. I remember Briar Rose doing the dream walking thing. I remember the monochromatic dreamscape. I remember that whole thing. I remember Joe becoming like Pinterest mom that I'm trying to get out of, but it seems like it's just heading that direction. Yeah.
So, does anything need to happen before you meet with the vampires in the evening?
No, I think we were resting up before heading out.
All right. So it's just after sundown when Cassandra, you get a text from Amy that reads, "I've got our Malkavian friend. Where would you like to meet? I understand sometimes it's a little uncomfortable being around so many of us at once. Would you rather your place or one of ours?"
Oh. She's just gonna lean over and show the text to Tyr.
I mean, at least in a place of our choosing, we have the lay of the land if anything goes wrong.
True.
I don't know if you want to be sleeping in a den of vampires.
Not particularly. That's definitely not registered high on my list. She's going to call Jackson real quick.
Okay. Hello.
Hey, sweetie. I have a little ask. Nothing too big. Could we have the whole vampire dream walking thing at the warehouse?
Yeah, I don't see any reason why not.
Okay.
No, that's fine.
Okay. So that's where we'll be. Had it been discussed whether we were allowing everyone there, or was it just Tyr and I for this?
The vampires are indifferent. Like they're just like we'll bring you the guy.
Okay. Okay. Tyr and I are gonna head over there now. If you want to let everybody else know, if y'all want to be there, that's fine. If not, I understand.
All right. How many people from the Living Challenge side are we going to be having?
As far as I know, maybe 2, 3. But I will get an actual number. I'm talking to Amy right now.
All right. I'm just trying to, if we need to, I'm not concerned about the warehouse. It is, I'm simply making sure that if we want to have any security kind of things, like, I don't know, flamethrower, I don't know, like whatever we might need to have, it's in place before.
Yeah, I get that. Okay, I will hop off here and I'll message her and I will let you know as soon as I do.
All right.
And she will text Amy asking how many from her side are showing up.
When you get back, Well, Civ is bringing the seer herself, and I and Guire are coming along for security.
Texting the group, there will be 4 vampires, including the prince, at the dream thing. Whoever wants to come can, question mark.
Yeah, I would have immediately after we got off, I would have just texted did the group text. Vampire party at the warehouse.
I love it.
Show up or don't.
Joe will respond, James and I will be there.
Is this the same? How long after last session is this?
A few hours.
A few hours. Okay. Respond back. Do we need more people on call? From Frank Lisa. I followed up with, by which I mean your sister and her friends. Or will that just make things messy too quickly?
Yeah, there's an immediate. I'm putting a veto on that.
Not in the room, maybe a block away.
You know what we should do? We should take the vampires, the werewolves, and the changelings and put them all in a moderately cramped building.
You said moderate kind of building, and my immediate thought was there's an antique shop ran by a mage.
Yeah, let's make it worse. Fucking great idea.
How many boxes can we tick off?
Just fucking 3 werewolves, 4 vampires, 5 changelings, and a mage in a china shop.
I just keep.
Don't you forget my hunter spouse.
Right. I just keep thinking. I was doing last month a Marvel rewatch. I watched The Incredible Hulk, and the point where Edward Norton's like, "You want me in a metal tube in the most aggressive city in the world," and like that's this vibe right now.
A little bit. I think maybe a block away wouldn't be too terrible, but better make it 2.
2 blocks and be quiet.
And
she will inform Tyr of all of this.
and so that's Tyr's response. That's Tyr's response. Do you think they can be quiet?
And the valid point.
Somebody check the moon real quick.
What is tonight's moon phase?
It is a full moon.
No,
Lance,
fuck no. Fuck no.
I know there's
That is
You know
one. I believe it's a rune, and we should not allow that to be around during the full moon.
A rune. I love that.
Like, why don't you guys just like stay where you are, but stay by your phones?
Yeah. That's all we're asking.
Like, don't just keep them in sight, check them every once in a while,
All I can imagine is during all of this is you see that Frisian is typing. Except the conversation keeps changing, and he takes
Frisian
so
is
long
typing.
to type.
Yeah, just constantly.
It's like 10
first
minutes
it's like-
after the conversation's wrapped up. Okay.
No, 10 minutes after the conversation wraps up, Frisian gives up. It's like at first it's like I can.
Respond in. Has anyone shown Frisian speech to text?
No, we haven't had the chance. No. Though
3 minutes later, what's speech to text?
So out of game, I could just see it going a lot like my father using speech to text, which is just amazing.
Oh, the not even bothering to check what the thing reads who he said, just hitting send after speaking into it.
No, it just like he gets low key frustrated with it. Like especially with the punctuation. Period.
Oh, I just got used to that when reciting speech to text. I just get used to putting the punctuation in what I'm saying.
You have to remember, my dad is in his 70s, so this is the fact that he even uses speech to text is.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm in my late 40s and I don't use speech to text.
I don't use it either. It frustrates me too much, and I don't trust myself.
I use it whenever I need my hands free.
I don't trust myself enough to not say something I shouldn't.
I don't think my phone supports speech to text.
Well, no, because you have to crank it.
Listen, I have seen what Google and Apple and the like do with auto translate through subtitles for YouTube videos, and actually Apple's pretty good as far as like the transcription for the podcasts now. But still, no. Because I'm just going to delete the whole thing. I'm going to manually type it. So what was the point? Anyway.
Are you informing the vampires of your chosen venue?
Yeah,
I would hope so.
She will give the address of the warehouse. And she will give a small description of it, just in case there's any confusion, which there really shouldn't be, but
yeah, it's by itself off the side of a road. There's almost no way.
We are talking to some centuries old vampires, and Google Maps is a little new for them. So
fair.
That's why you have ghouls to do the work for you.
That's fair.
You just make sure that they're bloodbound so they don't betray you.
All I can imagine is like, this is what you have ghouls. They end up with like 60-year-old ghouls.
No.
Know how to use Google Maps.
Well, that's also why you cycle your ghouls out, aka send them on death missions on a semi-regular basis.
Oh man, I really need to play a vampire game run by Jeremy at some point.
Once every 20 years or so,
you find fresh ghouls.
I mean, you have to do it gradually. You have to do it over a certain period of time. But yeah, you cycle through your ghouls for two reasons. One, they stay weak, but 20 years isn't long enough for them to become competent easily. And two, they stay in touch with modern technology.
I was kind of wondering if during Blood on the Bayou, if that the girl whose boyfriend we had just ashed because he was a vampire was going to end up as Guire's ghoul because she had offered to help her out if she needed anything.
Yeah, there was potential for that.
There's potential for it now.
Yeah, maybe season 2.
Who knows?
Oh no, I mean in this game, like
yeah.
There's the ghoul that's driving them to. There's the ghoul that's operating Google Maps for.
I'm just saying.
Deep cut.
Ghouls are vampires' expendable resources. They're like prepaid debit cards.
It's a good joke, but I'm gonna need you to stop.
So warehouse.
Yes. So
Meeting.
those of you who elect to arrive.
Yes.
Is that everyone, or are some of you choosing not to go?
I'm definitely there.
I arrived.
My damn warehouse.
I'm
I think
there.
I'll take a rain check.
Yanks you.
Frisian would have
So
just
in
found
danger.
Jackson and be like, "Is there a reason for to go?" Jackson's going. It's like, "Yeah, probably a reason to go."
I just picture we get there, Frizzy and goes for a run.
It's been a while since I've run in the country. It's fine. No, that's at dawn.
All right. Do you text your sister anything about this at all, Cassandra?
No.
Cool.
It is worth noting that because it was Frank and there was an entire afternoon, and Frank doesn't really hang out with the other changelings, he might have seen if the werewolves were available to go hang out with.
That tracks.
I will say, because it is the day of the full moon, they were probably out.
We don't want to kill you.
At least they don't want to. That's not a common thing in my group.
Nobody in the motley wants to kill you.
Just wound you.
I will make.
Some of us regret that it will be an inevitability, but
I'll also technically note that in the motley does include one exclusion right now.
that's
That is true. That is true.
That is absolutely true. Listen, we're talking about motley from an emotional level, and not a
Contractual level.
Contractual level.
Contract or no contract, you bitches are stuck with me. How?
You motherfucking right.
And how?
I don't see how Frisian is not stuck with them. He lives there.
So the
The rest of you guys have other places.
I mean, in fairness, there are a number of now very nice mansions that you can choose to live in if you want.
Just to move in.
It's not due to lack of options.
Frisian moves into Joe's mansion before Joe can.
My husband is a dragon. You will be out.
Yes, but if Frisian gets there early and finds all of the good hiding places, we can then just cut to like 3 months later. You don't realize it. Frisian's been living in the attic, in the basement, where one of those people where you hear that story of like, there was a man living in my attic for 17 years and I didn't know.
No, because bitch ain't gonna be running in my attic. I would hear that.
You would think, and yet those stories exist.
I know they do. True crime junkie. Yeah.
Look, we don't talk about Bruno.
You.
Oh my god, I hate you.
You wouldn't think you'd hear Frizzy running out. No, you do hear him. You just think it's raccoon, so you send James up with like raccoon repellent. James does a half-assed job.
Hey.
Because James doesn't want to be up there with raccoon repellent either.
He's a dragon. Why would he be afraid of a raccoon?
I didn't say afraid of the raccoon. I just said he doesn't want to be up there.
It's his damn house. He's gonna take care of it.
That's why he's up there, even though he doesn't want to be there.
You know what? We've gone way off track. Poor Shawnee. Okay.
I was gonna say if this train had rails, we took them up and moved them.
I will say, just one last even further tangent aside. When you said we don't talk about Bruno, for my Pride Month watching challenge, I did a rewatch of the Sacha Baron Cohen movie Bruno for the first time since it released. First of all, it's still fucking awful. And I hate
bad as you remember.
I hate it with every fucking fiber of my being. But second of all, I just had an image of that Bruno like living in someone's attic for years. Yeah.
Yeah. So, the group of you arrive first. Obviously, it's your warehouse. You know where it is. You don't have the limitation of having to get there later.
Right.
The next vehicle that arrives after all of you do is a giant black Hummer. Like the kind of vehicle that you're pretty certain is like military surplus dialed down to civilian specs, air quotes.
That's a nice.
And
it's not bad.
It pulls up into a spot in the front yard of the warehouse, and 4 doors open up. And
that's mostly 2.
3 people step out first. You recognize Civ, who gets out of the driver's seat. Guire gets out of the passenger seat, and Amy gets out of the driver's side rear seat. Amy then walks around to the driver's side, to the passenger side rear seat, and helps out the 4th figure, who is dressed in this sort of like long gray but like form-fitting robe with like a shawl that's sort of like drawn around the shoulders but sort of pulled back from the head. And you see a roughly 5'10", 5'11", looks to be mid-40s woman with long black hair that is just sort of free-flowing behind her, deathly pale skin, and her eyes sewn shut. And Amy offers an arm to this woman, and the 4 of them make their way up to the door, and Civ just sort of with one knuckle knocks. For the group's benefit, she knocks with like the middle finger knuckle, just like that.
Right.
It comes off like someone was pounding on the door.
I was gonna say, of course it's with one knuckle. If it was all of them, the door would probably come off the hinges.
Yeah.
Yep. Open the door. Come in. They just finally say after.
It's a lovely place that you've got here, Civ says as she steps inside, followed by Guire and then Amy leading this 4th individual.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's a little garbage dump, but I appreciate you being kind. It was home.
Well, all things considered, I suppose it's best that we get down to introductions and business. I believe you're familiar with Guire and Amy.
More or less.
This is the Malkavian that was mentioned in previous communication. This is Tiresias.
Tiresias, nice to meet you.
They say nothing. They just sort of like turn their head towards the sound.
Fair.
Greetings.
Cassandra, pleasure to meet you.
They nod.
Well, all right. So we need to know. Fuck it, whatever we need to know.
We
As I
need to
understand
know.
it, based on the information that has been relayed by Guire, you're looking for the potential body of an antediluvian vampire that is theoretically being stored somewhere in the city.
I don't know if I would put it that way. We do not want to find this thing, but apparently we need to.
I think that's all correct. Yeah.
If
At
it
least
is
that's the
something
situation
that
we
is-
know.
If it is something that is known to a Malkavian, Tiresias may be able to find it. But they're going to have a hard time communicating it in the waking world. Most everything they ever communicate is usually written. They rarely ever speak, and even what they write is usually cryptic. As I'm sure has been impressed upon you, would likely be significantly easier to communicate in the realm of dream.
That has been, yes.
Yeah, I will be leading that charge.
And none of you clocked it, but at a moment when none of your eyes were on them, were on Tiresias for a moment, something changed, and the next time you look at them, instead of the 40-year-old woman, you see probably like a 50s, 60s-year-old man with a long, white, unkempt beard that reaches down to about mid-chest. Their hair is that same flowing length, but is more like gray, and their face is significantly more wrinkled. The eyes are still sewn shut.
Yeah, no, I will leave you all to it. I'm going to go outside and keep an eye out there.
How about the rest of you go get a drink?
I am officially done with this bullshit, whatever that was.
Joe is going to look at Cassandra and go, "Are you certain?"
I'm not gonna make you leave.
I'm not going anywhere, says Frank. We've all seen weirder.
I am weirder.
We all are.
Okay. So where are we doing this?
Oh, there's the couch, if you'd like to find a comfy place to lay down.
Are they gonna be awake, or
Imagine they would have to sleep as well to enter the realm of dream.
I would hope so, but I don't know biology. But y'all interact with everything differently than we do. So
We must sleep during the day, but we can sleep when we need to.
all right, okay. Yeah. I will. Yeah, she's just gonna try to get her mind off whatever the fuck she just saw in the direction of Tiresias, and then go lay down.
And you learn over the course of the next couple of moments, Tiresias has almost sort of a weeping angel effect, where whenever they go completely unobserved, the next time someone looks at them, they have alternated between those two states.
Fascinating.
Schrodinger's Malkavian.
Schrodinger's Malkavian, yes.
Joe is just going to be at the corner of the room. She doesn't want to be intrusive, but she's going to hang back with James in the corner in full view of everything, but not in the thick of it.
So yeah, you pull a couple of couches next to each other, and Tiresias just sort of very carefully walks over and lays down on one of them.
Yeah. Cassandra will find a couch to lay on.
So yeah, the two of you lay down, and you extend a hand because you need to be in physical contact to pull someone into the dream realm.
Mm-hmm.
And Tiresias extends theirs and touches, and it's cold to the touch, like touching a corpse.
That tracks.
But you slowly drift off to sleep in preparation for this. The rest of you who are in the room know the instant that Tiresias is asleep, because when they fall asleep, their eyes open. The threads stretch under the pull of muscles forced open, and just milky white orbs peer out from beneath the stitching.
So glad she's asleep. So I forget, what is the role to do a near and to enter the dream through a nearmancy?
To cross the gate of ivory, you are going to make a resolve and composure roll.
Okay. Resolve. Composure. Can I spend a willpower on this?
You absolutely can.
Okay.
Also have to spend a glamour to bring someone with you, wasn't it?
It's a glamour to get in.
Okay.
4 successes.
Yep. It does, yeah, it costs 1 glamour per guest.
I don't think I was bringing anybody with me.
Tiresias.
Oh, yeah. No, that makes sense. Yep. Okay, I had just enough glamour then. Which I think is something we discussed at the end of the last session.
Yeah.
Because you had specifically decided to scare the shit out of your spouse to get glamour back.
I sure did, because I'm a menace. She'll get me back for it later.
So, you find yourself not in your dream, but in Tiresias's.
Oh, God. Okay.
And you find yourself standing in a blackened stone valley. Fog rolls at your feet, and off to one side you see a dark river flowing into the distance, its beginning and end obscured from your sight. The high rock cliffs of blackened stone rising far beyond what you can see above, and mist shrouding all distance.
Oh, Athena, help me.
Funny you mentioned, this does look indeed a lot like what mythological depictions of Hades would be described as.
So she doesn't see Tiresias anywhere?
You start to look around, and then you hear a voice that says, "You come to seek the wisdom that I hold." And this voice is at both times masculine and feminine. And as you sort of turn, they sort of emerge out of the mist towards you. And in the dream state, Tiresias takes on almost a lenticular effect, where they seem to twist and fade between man and female, between man and woman, as you look at them, almost like looking at a changeling's mask in me.
Yeah. My name is Cassandra. I've been tasked with asking you if the body of Malkov is in the city.
I hold the wisdom of the lock. The knowledge of the key is held by another.
Well, that's good.
The unsleeping shadow is kept by the sainted sinner and his apprentice, the Sagittarius. The two who have resisted temptation are the only ones trusted to serve as the lock on the seal of madness.
Oh, all right. That was about as clear as mud. I'm sure if I knew what each of those titles meant. Do we have an actual physical location?
The madness beacon is divided. That only by true consensus can the seal be broken and the shadow let free. The key without the lock is doomed to break, but the lock without the key has no chance to try.
Okay.
The one who holds the knowledge of the key is held in binds of blood. His knowledge is used to seek the door, heedless of the dangers of the lock.
So they don't know what they're actually hunting for.
Without the knowledge of the lock, the key can seek but never find.
That's a good thing.
The search may still awash all in blood.
So what do we do to stop all of this?
Find the key. Find the lock. Make the decision. Only true consensus can break the seal or lock it again. The binds grow weak. The unsleeping shadow stirs. Thus do the visions come. Thus is the knowledge of the key imparted to me, and the wisdom of the lock granted to Mimir. Sorry. Reverse those. Wisdom of the lock to them. Knowledge of the key to Mimir.
This is a lot.
When I trip over my own cryptic bullshit.
It happens. Okay, and what happens if we can't agree? I'm assuming we're all still awash in blood, like you said.
If the seal is not enforced, the madness will spread. The unsleeping shadow's influence grows regardless. The unsleeping shadow does not wish to awaken before it is time, but its power is too great to be contained without continual refreshment of the seal. Thus, when the seal grows weak, are the lock and key spread among its heritage. So that they may decide, by true consensus, when the time is right.
So I need to get you and Mimir together, then.
There's a sense of affirmation, though they don't really seem to say or do anything.
Okay. So he's held in bonds of blood and guarded by the sainted Senna and the Sagittarius, you said?
The unsleeping shadow is kept by the sainted sinner and his apprentice, the Sagittarius. The one who holds the knowledge of the key is held in binds of blood.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry, this is a lot. Yeah, I think that's... I mean, it's not incredibly clear, but that is... I mean, I should know. No prophecy of it is.
To seek the sainted sinner, one should seek the oldest grave.
Okay. And I am assuming both the sainted Senna and the Sagittarius are extremely dangerous then.
They are the ones who can resist temptation, the ones who have overcome, the ones who can be trusted.
That's a yeah. That tracks. All right. I can't think of anything else. You have been helpful. Thank you. What? Do you want to open the lock? Or do you want to keep it shut?
I do not know.
You'll know when the time is right, won't you?
As all things tend to be.
Okay,
I do not think it is yet time to open the seal.
Good.
The age of Gehenna is not yet upon us.
Let's kick the end of the world can down the road a bit.
I don't... No, because we barely met Guire. She doesn't know what that word means.
Yep.
Gehenna?
The end of all things, when all is consumed in blood, when the first awakens again.
Pain. Okay, all right. Yeah, definitely. I think I'd like to wake up now.
If you ever wish to speak more, it is rare to be able to converse directly.
I'll reach out if I need more guidance.
Your essence is unique. The colors you radiate are beautiful.
I've been told that once, twice.
I appreciate being able to see. And this entire time, you've sort of failed to process it, but their eyes are completely open and just like you expect in the real world, they're like milky white, not able to see anything, but here they are violet and just piercing.
Do you want to see something really neat? And she will just Starry Night.
Work of art.
I'd be willing to come by and show you more.
I appreciate. It is easier to speak when not speaking of prophecy. But such is all most ever seek.
I know what it's like to not be able to see, hear, speak, feel, know. So if I can help anybody who's in the same position, I will.
Do not blame those around me for the state of my physical form. My eyes were sacrificed long ago for the gift of prophecy. They do their best to keep me whole.
I am glad that you believe that. Thank you. You have been extremely helpful. And she's going to will herself to wake up.
The dream pulls away, and you find yourself surging back into your form. To those watching outside, the milky white eyes snap shut, and Tiresias sits up at about the same time that Cassandra is coming to.
She will just one finger up. I need whiskey now.
On it. Joe just runs to the kitchen.
And after she's downed the liquid courage. Sorry, I was just confronted with my own personal version of hell. I'm fairly certain we were in Hades.
1 second, be right back. Let me just check on that Austin that just went out of frame.
So the end of the dreamscape there.
Are you okay? Muscle's not working. Okay. 1 second.
But the end of the dream there, like, I'll come back and visit you. For some reason, that gave me the image of like kids doing community service and going and talking to like their elder neighbor.
I mean, kinda. It's sort of like the trope of the 5-year-old who finds the dragon in the woods and is like, "Yeah, I'll be back to visit you." As somebody who worships the entire Greek pantheon, Cassandra's a little freaked the fuck out right now.
That's fair. That is very fair.
Understandably.
So maybe now might be. Oh, okay. We have a Shawnee. Do we need to break?
Holly is taking care of it. Austin occasionally falls over like this and basically loses muscle control for a bit, and he will probably no longer be joining us for the rest of the stream. But
all right.
But he's
Yeah, he's stable. He just can't move or speak right now.
okay. That's cool.
Gotcha.
Cool. Door has been put in place.
So yeah, I'm fairly certain I was just in Hades. Well, I have answers. They are cryptic and prophetic, but I have
Okay.
answers. The body of Malkov is guarded by the sainted sinner and the Sagittarius. To find them, we need to find the oldest grave. Tiresias here is what's known as the Lock.
Okay.
Lock.
Okay.
And to be perfectly clear about the prophecy as it was described, the indication was that Tiresias was granted the wisdom of the lock, and the other person was granted the knowledge of the key.
Mm-hmm. He knows of the lock, and then there's one other who has the knowledge of the key. His name is Mimir, and he is bloodbound. Sorry,
Okay.
held in bonds of blood, which would be how she would have said that.
Of course.
Just to check, did anybody go outside and get the people who went outside? Because at least one person went outside.
Yeah.
I
Like when after Joe gets the whiskey, she'll like, shit's done. Come back in.
All right.
you are present for this explanation.
Yes.
At which point, Civ, of course, the Sabbat rely very strongly on the power of blood binding to control the behaviors of their members. It's
I'm gonna
unsurprising.
guess it's what it says on the tin.
Yes, the blood of another vampire can be used to gain control over a vampire.
I'm also gonna
Right.
guess that's not done willingly all the time.
Not usually.
Cassandra, what was there anything else?
Julia is blanking.
There's the consensus part too.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. So the lock and the key have to agree on whether they want to awaken the sleeping darkness
Or reseal it.
or reseal it. And Tiresias here says that he does not believe it is time for Gehenna.
Oh, good.
Can somebody explain that, please?
The end of
I
all
mean,
things.
Yeah, I don't know specifically what it means here, but Gehenna is the end of the world.
I see.
If their great ad infinitum grandpappy wakes up, the world will be covered in blood and not just human.
It's the biblical end.
Gotcha. Okay.
Something tells me that if something that old and that powerful wakes up, there is no weapon on this earth that will be able to stop it.
There is also the warning of what happens if you just leave it alone and the lock and key don't meet.
If we don't do anything about it, then there's a chance it'll just break open anyway, which will be even worse. So I'm going to assume I know what I want to do. She will say, looking at the vampires in the room.
At that point, there's nothing to do but to find this Mimir and get them to wherever this thing is, so that they can reseal the lock.
Cassandra will take out her cell phone and search. Just do a quick Google search of the oldest grave in Nashville.
I'm wondering if it's
Knoxville, but yeah.
Yeah.
Is it a literal grave, or is that just
probably not, but...
So the oldest cemetery in Knoxville is the cemetery attached to the First Presbyterian Church, which is a historical graveyard and the oldest in Knoxville.
If we're going literal, I found it. If we're not, I haven't a single fucking clue.
Joe is going to direct this question to the vampires in the room. Does any of this ring true to you? Do you know what these riddles mean?
I mean, all of it sounds exactly like end of the world prophecies and the kind of thing that it is our job to try and stop, especially those of us who are in charge. So, as far as locations, I think you might be a little too small scale when you speak of the oldest grave.
Small scale?
In many...
I understand what you meant. I assume what you meant. I was just being dramatic.
In many perspectives, mountains are known as the bones of the earth. And the mountains of here...
Oh, he's under the Smokies.
There's somewhere in the mountains that this thing...
The mountains in this region of the United States are literally older than the concept of bones.
Y'all motherfuckers need to stop dropping your trash in our wells.
Okay. So, but the Appalachians are a big range. How do we even know what?
Everybody's coming here. We have to assume that it's here.
Also,
I know, but there's still a lot of mountains in the...
I'm aware. Yeah.
Well, the nearest mountain range to Knoxville is going to be in the Smoky Mountains, directly southeast.
Obviously.
That's still a lot of ground to cover.
I swear on every deity out there, if this thing is buried underneath Dollywood, I'm going to... She would just give a thumbs up.
Okay. So it's guarded by...
The Sainted Sinner and the Sagittarius, his apprentice.
And the Sagittarius. So Sagittarius could either...
Archer or horse, or it could be a more metaphorical meaning.
I was about to say, I don't know necessarily it's referring to the birthday month, but my first thought was Archer.
Could be an archer, could be a horse, like I said, could be could be someone who fits those natures.
This
Fire sign.
sainted sinner.
Any
I mean,
Why does that that sounds like it sounds like something familiar, but I can't put
Were you given any description of these two other than their titles?
my
again, Julia has the memory of a goldfish.
The other thing that was used to describe them was that they are the two who have overcome temptation, the two who can resist temptation and have overcome it, and who can be trusted.
They said they were the two who could overcome temptation and can be trusted. Does that mean anything to you?
That's a tall ask for a vampire specifically. And I know that Tiresias was referring about that.
sainted sinner.
I mean, sainted
Wait.
sinner. I mean,
Hold on. You mean a vampire that's never tasted blood?
Not never tasted. Overcome the desire for it.
That's a thing you can do?
In myth.
Well, who's the person that can do it in myth?
I mean, there is a state that is said to be a mythologically achievable form called Golconda, wherein a vampire can overcome the beast that drives us. I didn't think anyone could ever actually achieve it.
Okay, so all we have to do is look for two vampires who are basically human. Anybody else think this is getting as clear as mud?
no. I mean, it's getting clearer. It's just getting dumber.
Okay, are there
That means it's gonna be in the mountains somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently.
are there any and I generally don't know, Katie doesn't know. Are there any like local legends or like ghost stories about
You can roll me wits and streetwise to try and recall any potential legends that might be related to this.
oh good. Ask the person with the
I mean, anyone who wants to can roll that now that it's been brought up.
oh man.
Two successes. Based on who she is, it would make sense that she would know any of the local legends.
Parisian is not from here, so it definitely doesn't know any of the local shit.
Marlena knows the tea.
I mean,
She's also been here a bit longer.
It's not. It's highlighted, but it's not changing anything for me.
But like Marlene, how Marlena gets 4 successes on 2 dice.
Oh, you're on attack roll still. Switch back to sheet roll. There you go.
yep.
Okay.
There you go.
Well, it's straight line. Which I have no. Come on. Here we go. Nope.
All right. So with 2 successes, Cassandra, the mountains are basically an eldritch horror. There's no shortage of legends and myths surrounding the mountains, the entire Appalachian Mountain.
We don't have enough time to go over it all.
Marlena, with 4 successes, one in particular stands out to you, which is a more recent one that you really only have heard of, like, since you've been back. Like, you just sort of picked it up from your explorations and just wandering around and searching the internet. Recently, there have been a new ghost story has popped up recently, essentially.
Okay.
Called The Specters of Klingman's Dome. Klingman's Dome being the tallest mountain.
The tallest mountain in Tennessee, yeah.
Yeah. And it claims that if people get lost on the mountains, get lost around Klingman's Dome, 2 ghosts will appear, and you would better either listen to their warnings, and when they direct you back to the path, better follow, or if you don't listen to what they say, you might never be seen again.
All right. Where is? So we got the lock. Who's the key again?
The person with knowledge of the lock is named Mimir.
Knowledge of the key. Yeah.
No. Yeah. Knowledge of the key.
Mimir.
Tiresias has
right.
knowledge of the lock.
All right. Knowledge of or is, because those are 2 separate things.
From what Tiresias explained to you, the wisdom and the knowledge are distributed when the seal needs to be refreshed to 2 individuals of Malkav's.
So basically, they are the lock and the key when the time is right. If that makes sense.
And then they need to fuck on top of a apartment complex in New York City, and Stay Puft Marshmallow comes out, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right.
You're not wrong. Yeah. I want to say congratulations, Jeremy. You held a Keymaster joke back that long. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
That's why I very specifically did not call either of them the gatekeeper.
Like that's gonna stop us.
Yeah, so we just have to find this individual that we have. And she will just like stop mid-thought and then turn and look at Sev.
Well, I mean, the rumors are that the Sabbat came into town on the orders of a Malkavian. I'm getting the feeling
fuck you.
I'm getting the feeling that the orders of is kind of a reversed situation.
So we need to kidnap one of your... That's a you mission.
I mean, I don't disagree. I will be getting to work on it.
I will leave that in your capable hands.
So,
no pressure.
Let me get this. So they're finding this person.
They're finding the evil crazy person, crazy person.
Got it.
So we can match them up with our garden variety evil crazy person and take them out to Klingman's Dome.
It may be worth trying to scout out and see if you can actually find where we need to bring them ahead of time.
Well, would that be a thing to do during the day or during the night?
Day, first of all. Although it's not going to matter. It's not like we're going to be able to get out to find the spot that we're going to need to find within a day's time. Like this is we're searching a fucking mountain, the largest mountain in Tennessee. this is going to take a couple days, probably, or at least until these two vegetarian van. I don't fucking understand any of this, but these two least evil vampires find us and tell us to go away, and if we say no, kill us.
Not too far off, I would say.
I think this might be something that we want to bring family members in on.
Oh boy, they
I think we want to
I
try.
am not wandering out into the woods
I
to
get
meet
that.
mythical vampires by my lonesome. And by my lonesome, that means even if y'all and the rest of our people are there.
I understand that. However, I think we're all in agreement. Number one, nobody's going on their own, not even as a group. I get that. But number two, we have to tread very carefully because we're mixing a lot of different elements here and we don't want things to combust.
You are not wrong, and I do understand that. We do not have time right now to be delicate.
I didn't say delicate, I said careful.
Those are. Do you want to quibble over words, bitch, or do you want to fucking stop the end of the world? Pick a lane.
Excuse me for trying to be diplomatic, but okay,
No, I get it.
You go ahead and press the big red button and you see what happens.
I am simply saying we are on a short time frame here.
I understand that.
And I understand that we don't. Werewolves and vampires, whatever. I understand that is a problem. But if we're gonna go out into the middle of the woods, where apparently something that not even the pointed at the prince, not even they are aware who we're talking about.
I can't. Wrong accent. I can't really think of any. I don't know of any Golcon Knights. Like I said before this was revealed to me, I didn't know it was a thing a vampire could do.
So if we go out into the woods with certain people and it gets bloody and say a couple of Golcondites, whatever that is, end up spread across the Smoky Mountains, this is not going to kick off some big werewolf vampire war, is what I'm understanding.
If you got some of those furry death machines to bring with you into the mountains, that might be a good defense.
So,
That's good enough for me.
I still might not bet on them.
my concern is, like, it sounds like we need the Golcondites alive, and if the werewolves meet the Golcondites, they're obligated to kill them.
Why do we need the Golcondites alive?
Because
we need a rock, we need a key, we need a place.
Yep, because they have the knowledge of one of those things.
I mean, it sounds like they're guardians. They're
guardian the thing that we don't want to wake up.
Yeah.
So when we find them, I'm not saying that we're going out there and we're starting a fight.
The werewolves are obligated to fight, though. Like, if the werewolves meet, they will like, they've implied that if they meet a vampire, they are obligated to at least attempt to kill it. And the Golcondites have the knowledge of the key, or have the knowledge of where it's at, and we need to know where it's at so they can restore the seal. So we need the Golcondites. So having the thing that's obligated to kill them might not be a good idea. Also,
Well,
I think Sif just implied that the Golcondites might be able to kill Wilros, which is also terrifying.
that is what was implied. Yes.
It takes a... I realize the irony of me saying this. A supernatural level of discipline to be able to even attempt to overcome that level of the beast. If they've made any progress on that path, or fucking Odin Forfend actually completed walking it, if you push that into a fight, I don't want to know what that ends up being.
I am open to suggestion, because it sounds like if we go out there without some kind of protection, nothing's gonna get found, and probably not us either.
How about
I mean,
Andrew?
if they're guardians, it's their job to try and protect the thing, and they might try and turn you away, but you might be able to tell them that you're here to find so you can bring the lock and key. You might be able to talk your way. I don't know.
Yeah, if they're protecting it and we say we're trying to make sure the seal doesn't break, they might help us.
I mean, I can guarantee you they haven't had that offer from any of the stories.
I can't. Why can we guarantee that?
I'm just saying that ordinary people that are making ghost stories are not up there negotiating on breaking a seal or whatever.
I mean, I'd be willing to bet, depending on how long the Would it be fair to say that this ancient vampire has been there for a while?
I mean, that wasn't the ghost story you were hearing before you got taken, and you were only hearing it after you came back, so... At least long enough to form a ghost story, but that can be years at minimum. Even months if it spreads really quick, but it sounds like it's been a little longer than months.
All right, well.
Okay. Next steps. What do y'all need to do? She's referring to the vampires. What's the next step for y'all? What's the next step for us?
Well, I guess I send Guire and a few of my separate individual squads of vampires out to go and try and hunt down Mimir and see if we can free them from their blood bonds and take them into custody. Meanwhile, the group of you scout out Klingman's Dome and see if you can find where we need to bring them when we have them.
Then it sounds like we've got an excursion to plan.
It's at this point that Tyr's phone goes off. And Tyr sort of looks down at it, picks it up. Sighs.
Way is your job, it's not.
It's not my job.
Who just got into town?
Well, the pair of them were at least kind enough to let me know they're dropping in. He says, he sort of flicks up his phone and pulls up the text message he just got, turns around the selfie so that you can see a tall man in sort of like a white, almost chef's apron, white coat with short cropped blue hair, kind of curly, and a woman that looks like she stepped out of a gothic Victorian magazine, dressed in like this sort of like frilly, long flowing black and gray dress with this wide, like Victorian skirt, with like a fan that looks like it has blades in the boning, and with like this red hair pulled back into a giant, like floofy ponytail.
And who are we looking at?
I'm
Madam
gonna assume
Thorne.
those are yeah.
And
Remember, we're also trying to. We also have the hunter problem to deal with, and technically, we were supposed to go kill some Sabat at some point.
I mean, you did do that with Choir earlier.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, it's Madam Thorne and Nicholas Lansing.
Oh, wonderful.
I am. Fuck. I'm tired of the storybook.
Yeah, that is.
It is storybook, but that doesn't mean we're.
I mean, this is the rising action before the climax, says Tyr.
That doesn't mean we're helpless.
No, it just means that bad things come in threes.
Okay, well, there's two of them.
Just
It's gonna happen anyway.
do not.
If you speak it into being,
Oh my god.
Listen, if we're operating on like myth and everything, I'm the only one who should be speaking any form of prophecy.
Yeah, but then nobody would believe you about it.
all right, let's get a rocket launcher. Go blow up your hunter bosses, and then not your bosses. You know what I mean. And then we can go wander into the Appalachians, which is always has a high survivability rate.
You know,
That's a great ad. Why didn't we think about just taking out? And she would just pause. Never mind.
I'm thinking because I had an idea of just getting some camping and hiking equipment and making a trip of it far away from these two knuckleheads over here.
No, I can't do that.
Well, I can't picture you camping in the first place, so I mean.
That is not what I'm talking about, and listen, I have my camping experience, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying I'm not comfortable with running away on this expedition and letting these two psychotics lay waste of the city.
I understand that too, but I also understand we've got multiple jobs here. So while somebody can be on the get rid of those fuckers job and somebody can be on the let's find this place job, we can spread out our resources.
I mean, Tyr says, like they're coming up with an idea. We can kill two birds with one stone.
Do you think we can get Lance and Madam Thorne that close of a...
Wait a second, what? Tia, finish your thought.
Technically speaking, as far as they're concerned, Nicholas and Madam Thorne are here to help me, air quotes.
Right.
we've got a couple of Golcondyte vampires that are considered a danger up in the Appalachians, and who can probably kill them from everything I've heard,
Right.
that we need to find.
I like where this is going.
I don't.
If you can stomach being in their vicinity for long enough, we could drag them up to the Appalachians with us and let two problems handle each other. And try
My
and talk
concern
with
is-
them after they finish killing each other.
My concern is, like, we are trying to prevent a flood of hunters in the city. If those two get killed, what's to stop the rest of their groups from just coming?
Yeah, that is the danger there, but hopefully we can resolve everything else before they do too much damage.
But wait a second. If they do, here in answer to Frisian's question, if they go up there and they don't come back and nobody else starts talking,
then these two crazy ass hunter groups are gonna assume that they died in the woods and go out that direction, which takes them away from the city, which makes it 3 birds with 1 stone.
All in all, I could argue for a worse alternative.
you have a worse alternative.
No, I really
No.
I don't. I'm just I could argue something worse, reasonably. It's not the worst option I've heard.
Are we gonna be able to pass as not changelings to these two?
Yeah, are we not gonna stink at the other side?
I don't know. I can only, especially now that my contract with Cassandra's up, I can only tell you guys apart because I have these shades. I don't know what tricks they have other than investigation to try and figure that out about you guys. I don't know that Madame Thorne has anything in particular. Nicholas is the one I'd be more concerned about, but I still don't know on his end.
Okay. Let's do it. Why the fuck not?
We don't have to go to the mountains with them. We can meet them out there. Then if they see that we're changelings, we just kill them ourselves.
I mean, that's a little.
And they're still dead in the mountains.
I love the idea of them being off a leash as long as it would take for them to get to the Appalachians and to get to the whatever the name of the mountain was.
Klingman's
Klingman, yeah, to get to Klingman's, and us if we're there, sure, there's some risk, but also we can keep the cat in front of them, and if they get off course or decide to turn back around, then we just take care of them.
Sounds right to me. I mean, none of these choices are my favorite, but that seems to be. Sometimes you gotta. That's all the choice you have.
Our distraction is supposedly working because, as far as I know from Fixer's report, they're the only two that refused to go elsewhere. So, because they felt like they still wanted to see things for themselves and they don't have to listen to anybody because they're high-ranking officers. Fucking. So, at the very least, they're the primary hunting problem to deal with right now. It'll be a while before anyone else shows up.
I mean, that's kind of positive.
Yeah, but they didn't get that high ranking in their individual orders by bureaucracy.
No, I'm well
That's my
aware.
drift.
I'm well aware.
Well, there's no use standing around here talking about it. Let's figure stuff out. And with that, that's where we're gonna take our break.
Cool.
Remember, when we take our break, you take your break. So do whatever you need to do. Set up, stretch your legs, do whatever you need to do, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. Please enjoy these commercial messages.
We back.
Welcome back. The vampires head out to get back to their places and start the process of figuring out where they can find Mimir. As they are leaving, Tiresias, in their feminine form at the time, looks over their shoulder at you, Cassandra, without their eyes still being completely sewn shut, and just offers like a wan smile, and then just walks out with the rest of them.
I feel like I'm just ready to be done with the bullshit. Don't say it. I know it's never going to stop.
No, I wasn't going to say that.
That was to. She will point to her spouse.
I was going to say me too.
Here shrugs.
Well, before we get further discussions going, why don't we have a drink or two and then see what we can figure out? And if nobody else is drinking, I'm drinking because
One side, do you think there was an opportunity to drink where I was not going to drink? Because
I never want to assume.
Frizzing off to the side, shoots off a text to the Morgan, saying that the two hunters are here, but fortunately it seems to be just the two for now.
He thanks you for the information and says that she'll get eyes on them and keep people away from them if possible. If you can send a description along, it would be appreciated.
Brisnian just asked here for the photo.
Yeah, Tyr will text it to you, and you can text it to the Morgan.
It takes a little bit, but it does get done.
Yep. Morgan thanks you for the information, and we'll make sure that the other changelings know who to avoid.
Next time we walk into the commons, there's just a big poster. Do not interact.
Big wanted poster.
Yeah. Do not engage.
Just do not.
Well, every drink that Loquacious serves, it's just like on the napkin, like, do not engage, do not engage, do not engage, do not engage.
So, the group of you pour some drinks. Where from there?
I mean, are we planning on going out and hunting more Sabat tonight? Or are we wanting to call it a night?
I don't. Well, the vampires doing what they're doing. I don't know that we need to do that. Don't get me wrong. I know that Sabat is still a problem, but if our backup, if Gua is occupied, then it may not be the most opportune time.
Yeah, not to say that you all didn't acquit yourself excellently in your encounter with vampires previously. But from what I understand, you ran into a group of 5 of them. That's not odds that I would put at, like, if you run into them in even numbers to yourself, I would never put anyone at a good advantage unless they're a werewolf.
All right, so what do we know about Klingman's Dome? I know it's the highest point. I know that there's an outlook at the top of it. But I have a feeling that we're going off the beaten path.
Oh, 100%. This is not going to be around any tourist sort of situation.
Though, if I were tasked with hiding some incredibly dangerous body, I'd probably put it relatively high up the mountain so that I had a good view of anyone that might be intruding. Which is probably why they're able to discourage anyone from getting lost if they wander too close to where they're keeping things.
Here's a thought, and correct me if I'm wrong or way off base. Because I'm guessing these stories that Marlena was talking about are based on accounts. Maybe if we did some digging on the internet, maybe there's some people that have described it in more detail as, you know, personal encounters, ghostly encounters, that kind of thing. I mean, there's forms for everything. So it stands to reason that, you know, somebody may have had details for other wannabe ghost hunters or whatever it may be.
It's possible. Supernatural forums are usually a good place to try and find info like that. If they got any kind of consistent information, that might be details we can use.
I would say it'd give us at least an area to start with, because that mountain's a mile and a half tall. That's a lot of ground.
Yeah, you're not necessarily wrong. I mean, we know what the highest point is. Obviously, there's the observation dome, so it won't be anywhere near that.
Right.
But the highest point is near the border, North Carolina.
Right. How far is that from here?
Now I would say, I don't know. I traditionally tried to avoid the Appalachians because I don't know if you are aware of this, but going out into the rural areas of this state are not necessarily the kindest if you are wearing a lot of eyeshadow. Put it that way.
Yeah, it's not necessarily kind to single women either. Back when I was single. Not exactly you don't exactly go traversing the wilderness all by yourself.
Right.
Fortunately, there's rural and then there's Appalachian.
I don't think Appalachian is any. Actually, Appalachian in a lot of ways can be worse.
Oh, it can be. In Appalachian, the concern is, are you from Appalachia? And if you're not, get out. And if you are, it doesn't matter who you are. But Appalachian is, there's going to be less people in general. Everyone's going to give you the stink eye. It doesn't matter who you are because you're not from Appalachia. But there will be less chance of individuals running into you.
Look, I am not looking to audition for the latest film in the Wrong Turn franchise. So
Hmm.
the thing about the High Point is there's the one road in. Be very easy to get off that road, and that it's nothing but wilderness up there.
Yeah.
So, you looking up stories online may not be the worst idea. Somebody I am certain will be competent at that. That is not me.
Yeah, just going up the mountain and getting lost in the wilds of the Smoky Mountains is not exactly my idea of a good time.
No, but we don't necessarily have to do that. We just have to go up to the touristy spot up at the top,
Mm-hmm.
and then just venture off the beaten path from that. If we're following the correct supposition here.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to get a head start on looking up some of those forms for any ghostly encounters that may narrow down the search just a little bit.
Any kind of publicly accessible ghost hunting forums are usually full of shit, but if any of them have like corroborated stories about the same details, some of those might be relevant. Some of them might just be people bandwagoning and trying to say they had the same experience, though. So
I understand that, but it could be all full of shit. But at least it's a place to start, and if it's wrong, it's wrong.
Yeah. Fortunately, we know at least if they are out there, then somebody is going to be right. So there will be some details that are universal between people's encounters.
That's why I'm going to research and take notes.
Probably what they look like, for one thing. If we can get a universal idea of what these people look like, that'll probably narrow things down.
This is going to be much easier on a laptop than on my phone, so let me get to that.
Oh, one thing. Have the two of you been given your keys yet? I believe you have.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Amy specifically came by Jackson stuff. And
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am just now realizing in the middle of all this bullshit we have to tell the kids we're about to move.
Fortunately, I didn't forget that, and I've been talking to them about it for a bit.
You're the greatest. Yeah.
Gold star for Tia.
One of us has to pant.
You're both parents.
No, we are both parenting. I've just had about 4 years of having to remember everything, so I've started to develop a skill for it.
And you don't get to talk about my sister that way.
I don't regret ever saying that around you.
No, you're not.
No, I don't. Okay. I don't know how I can help in the current situation.
You're the reason why we have any information in the first place.
I mean the next step.
Okay, well, we got here's what we're going to do. We're going to figure out, I'm going to go do my research, see if we can get any description, see if we can get any location. And then from there, we can move on about who's going, where we're going, who's not going, who's staying put. Just because you're not actively doing something at this very moment does not mean you're not being helpful. You did the hard part today.
notably, if you're looking for something to do, Frisian's off to the side, having been quiet, trying to look up maps on his phone.
He's
Okay.
doing his best.
Okay,
He's
so,
trying.
so can Joe see this?
Anyone can
you
see
tried.
Frisian. Like anyone can see that Frisian's on his phone, probably looking a little frustrated.
Frisian, you need some help.
Well, if we're going trekking in the mountains, it'd be good to actually know where we're going.
Oh, so you
And-
look it up.
I'm good at directions, but I need to actually know the area first. So I thought maps would be helpful.
Oh, Sandra, look, a job for you to do. Here you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, Frisian specifies like topographical maps are useful. A star map of the area would be useful if we end up in the dark.
I don't think I ever would have thought. Yeah. See, Cassandra will start searching up maps for us.
Joe will begin the dredge of the forums of the internet in Ghost Hunters.
All right. How to define this? Well, forum dredging is definitely going to be intelligence and computers.
Please tell me I have computers. I do. Okay.
Map finding, I'm going to say, is going to be intelligence and survival.
Oh boy. Yeah, I definitely have survival. I definitely have dots in that.
You can probably also substitute computers if you have that skill. Because you are trying to find maps using your computer skills.
It is the same either way.
Between like intelligence and survival, I have 5 dots.
That's the same as I have for intelligence and computer.
Intelligence, survival.
One success for Cassandra.
Can I spend a willpower on this?
Absolutely.
Oh, yes. I'm spending a willpower on this.
Also, only 1 success.
I wanted Frisian to come away with 5.
Right?
Yeah.
How do I denote the willpower on the modifier?
Modifier of 3. And just check off the box on your willpower tracker.
Yes, I did that.
All right. So with 2 successes shared between Cassandra and Frisian, the 2 of you sort of start digging and you find some basic topographical maps, and some you are able to find some star maps for like nighttime navigation of the region for around this time of year. They're about a year or 2 out of date, so axial precession might adjust them a little bit, but they're at least largely relevant. And then for Joe with 3 successes, and the topographical maps are kind of like pulled out. They're very wide range, so they're not as useful as they would be if they were like a map specifically of this one mountain. They're more like maps of this section of the Appalachian Range. But for 3 successes for Joe of searching forums, Ghost Hunter forums, especially ones located in Tennessee, are abuzz with all kinds of news about different like things that people have run into. But with a decent amount of searching, you are able to find a thread or 2 in different forums about the ghosts of Klingman's Dome. And you sift through pages upon pages of bullshit. But as you sort of like try and take any details that stories that aren't obviously just trying to bandwagon are able to put together, the most common place where people say that they have encountered the ghosts is usually if they step off the roads and paths that are near the peak, as you might have suspected. And specifically, if they start going too far, like north. If they start going too far north of the observation area, you start running into areas where these ghosts tend to appear and steer people back to the path.
Any descriptions?
Yes, the descriptions that seem to be consistent is that there is an old man and a young man. They're not specific about they seem to conflict about how old the old man is. Some people say no, he looks relatively young, but he's just got pale hair. Others say no, he's got to be old. He looks ancient. But the most common thing that you get is that he's dressed in an old-fashioned style and has long white hair.
Okay.
And then the young man is dressed more modern and has like short black hair.
Okay.
Usually they associate the young man with a coat, and sometimes they say they've seen a gun.
Okay.
And some people are like, are these a pair of ghosts who killed each other up on this mountain and that's why they're haunting this area, or so on and so forth? Are they related? Are they family that died out here together? You know, there's all sorts of speculation about why these two ghosts are showing up and what they look like. All of that you can probably surmise is bullshit because you know they're vampires.
Yeah. So what we're looking at, like I think it was Tia. Like Tia said, there's a lot of bullshit out there. However, there's some consistencies here. So it's pretty consistent that from the top of the mountain, so where the observation deck is, that's open to the public. If you start heading north from that point off the beaten path, you will see what many describe as an old man and a young man. An old man with old-fashioned clothes and long, pale hair. And a much more modern-looking man. More modern style clothes, short cropped black hair, wearing a jacket. Some people say he's had a gun. But consistently near the top of the mountain, going north off the beaten path is where the majority of these non-bullshit encounters seem to be taking place.
There's one more detail about the young man. They seem to be able to get more details consistent about the young man than the old man. The old man seems kind of weird. But the young man, there's one more detail, because a lot of these encounters happen at night.
Mm-hmm.
The one extra detail is that something about the young man seems to shine in the dark. There's some kind of markings on him, whether they're like tattoos or like reflective metal parts or something that like reflects and shines in the darkness.
One odd thing they say about the young man, because most of these encounters are happening at night. I mean, obviously because they're vampires. But the younger man seems to have a reflective quality. Like something is shining or reflecting off his skin.
Fucking Twilight vampires.
I don't know. That's just
You're just relaying, it's fine. It was just I didn't expect we would have to kill Edward.
I'm gonna happily assume that this is something that I missed.
Yes.
Yeah, and you are lucky.
Just don't go down that hole. It'll make you far more angry than you need to be.
Cut to the next night. Marlena angrily texting the other two. Why the fuck does he sparkle?
Listen, of all the things in the Twilight franchise that would bother Marlena, do you really think the
No,
fact
I really
that
don't
the
think it would be the sparkling.
glitter is
no.
going to be the problem?
No. It would more likely be, what the fuck
Save
do
a
you mean,
Miss Mar-
vampire baby?
Right. The sparkling thing would be like, all right, point in your favor, Miss Maya. But outside of that, what the fuck?
Oh, sparkly vampire? I can turn that into a drag thing.
Oh my god.
I'm here for this.
Say that like it probably hasn't been done.
I was gonna
17,000
say,
times.
Yeah.
Vampire drag has to have been done.
Oh, Vampire Drag
Hundreds of
100%
times.
exists.
That's specifically
Okay.
Twilight drag.
Twilight,
Probably
oh,
also
yeah.
done.
Almost certainly hundreds of times.
Love it.
Listen, the second a literary phenomenon said you have permission to put glitter on the vampires.
Oh yeah, I imagine the drag scene just took that and ran with it.
They're like, we've been doing that already, but thank you for the permission.
We had to ask.
About time he caught up.
Now stop having your protagonists imprint upon children, upon newborns.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, Twilight drag has been done. It's not hard to find. I just found a TikTok video that like.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course you did.
I'm surprised it took you. I'm surprised it took you that long.
Oh no, it only took that long because it was the second result. The first one wasn't a direct video; it was like a tag type of thing where there is a bunch of videos. So I
fair.
didn't want to click through them. Also, I did it. It was only like 2/3 of the way through the conversation. That's like, I'm gonna just Google this now.
But now
Yeah.
I want to.
That's the information you pull on the forums.
So that gives us a direction and a description.
We know where to look and what to look for.
And when. I mean, obviously, because the vampires are going to look at night.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing, because I know. I feel like I already know what the answer to this is, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Because there's two ways to get up the mountain. We can drive up to the top, or we can hike up to the top. I have a feeling if we're talking about nighttime, then it's probably. Well, I know driving nighttime on a mountain.
I mean, we can drive up pre-dusk.
Nighttime, yeah, that makes sense.
Drive up there in the light, and then.
Well, and
once it gets dark, we
additionally,
get off the path.
usually during the day, there are like range wardens and stuff designed like whose job it is to stop people from straying too far off the path. So going at night is when you're more likely to be able to avoid officials whose job it is to stop you from doing that.
So yeah, I would say like definitely headed out there after like they would be off
Off duty.
off duty. Um, so we head up there around dusk after everybody's off duty and gone. We head up to the observation point and we start going north.
We should probably get actual hiking equipment.
I mean, obviously. I wouldn't want to go down a very steep mountain without proper equipment.
Mm-mm. Are we all going on this, or is...
I'm going and I'm taking my dragon with me. I'm sorry, you just got signed up for this.
Also, apparently, all I am now is a dragon.
It was meant as a term of endearment.
I was going to say that is reductive and
Kind of feels objectifying.
a little bit.
Spa-
It is a little bit objectifying too.
It's not even the spouse, it's the dragon. Like this object to bring along.
So I'm disappointed.
Joe's walking out the door. Joe is done with this shit. I am walking out the door.
She walks out and behind you just hear James offering a high five to Frisian.
Frisian, looking at maps, reaches over and high fives him.
Joke's on you, fucker. I got the keys.
Okay, James, we support you here. No, you're more than just a tail.
I like to be appreciated for more than just my fire breath.
Nope. I'm driving. I'm off.
Oh no, you might have to ride. James might have to get a ride with the other like 4 cars that pulled up.
Like, Frisian probably would have just rode with Jackson.
Right.
But I don't know if Jackson would stand to have Frank in the car. Also, then there's a question of how did Frank even get here?
I'm gonna guess Uber.
Do you want to ask questions you don't want answers to?
And then Cassandra and Tyr probably have their own vehicle.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So
James will after poking fun and high fiving Frisian. We'll follow.
Joe, bitch, I'm gone.
it steps out the door to see Joe pulling out the driveway.
Peeling out.
you peel out, and James is like,
I'll give you a ride.
Well, she said she was going to take her dragon with her.
The irony, of course, is after Joe drives off alone, just to play along a bit and also be a little this is going to be the point. Driving off alone, that Joe is attacked by hunters.
Or the Sabbat.
Or the Sabbat. Or hunters and the Sabbat.
Just caught in the
Caught in the
crossfire.
middle between the two of them.
Or, your keeper shows up.
Now, Joe's run off alone. It's time for Joe to have a nice touching moment with some random old guy on the edge of town.
Ew.
Not all of us have Frisian's experiences.
No.
Not everybody gets to bond over shared veterancy just split my time difference, my time warp.
That just like I know what you were alluding to, but that sounded 30 kinds of wrong.
Yes, it's double bonus.
So, Joe, where are you headed?
Answer carefully.
So I pull up my map and figure out where the lines of battle are drawn.
Where are we? What city are we in?
We're in Williamsburg.
In
Which is just
Williamsburg?
a little bit outside of Pigeon Forge.
Okay,
Yeah,
hold
it's
on.
like directly east of Pigeon Forge.
I'm just waiting for the response to be something like Miami.
Bitch, I can do it.
Los Angeles.
After a while, James just gets a notification on his phone. Why is the car being charged for airline tickets?
He knows why. Blah, 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 blah. That's not. Dang, why there have to be so many Williamsburgs?
It's
I know it's
directly east of Pigeon Forge.
Yeah.
And, like southeast of Dollywood.
You know what?
It's also a very small town.
You have to zoom in to even have the name show up. Yeah.
I am going to, and I was talking about more about Google results because, like,
Finding out what's in Williamsburg.
oh, you mean Williamsburg? This? You mean, like, no, I said Williamsburg, Tennessee. Google, figure it out.
There's some alcohol. That's about all I remember there being.
Joe.
There's alcohol and a whole bunch of cabins and mountain retreats.
Yeah.
And a pizzeria, apparently.
Sorry, I'm taking so long. I want to get this right.
No worries.
Joe.
I gotta say the sheer number of different names, because like everyone who owns like one cabin that they're renting out in the mountains names their business differently.
Yeah.
Just looking at these business names is hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Cabins for you, Barry and Love.
Yeah, it's the first one that I saw.
Camp Runamuck. Like, cool, that sounds like it's a place for a horror movie.
Joe is headed to a place in Pigeon Forge that is it's called the Moon Pie General Store and Original Book Warehouse. It is exactly what it sounds like if you took a general store and a bookstore and just kind of like said now kiss. That's what it looks like.
Looks like a general store, but it's also bookshelves everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's open late. So
yeah. I'm assuming this is the place you used to work.
It's not the place I used to work. No, Joe's family had
that was
a
in Gatlinburg, wasn't it?
no is in Cosby, Tennessee. But she just knows. She knows of it because it's a networking thing where all the independently owned bookstores in the area would kind of know of each other and be able to send business where they needed to.
And as the name implies, have a large stock of moon pies if you want a snack.
No, she's
There's a lot of books in that store.
no, because I mean, at this time of night, there's no normal bookstores and libraries are closed, so she is off.
You make your way over there. You get there early enough, they're still open.
I'm gonna grab a snack and a book and just sit down and ignore my phone.
James is probably well aware that you will not answer your phone when called.
Yes.
First thing it texts you if you're running off, you should find a place that sells hiking equipment.
Before she puts her phone away, middle finger emoji, and then puts the phone away.
With that, as Joe makes her way and sits inside an old bookstore to read and kill some time and de-stress just a bit. And the rest of you make preparations and plans for hiking up a mountain to try and find some vampires who have achieved enlightenment. That's where we're going to end for the week. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.